Oh, you have to show up every day. That's the deal with the masculine. If you're not showing up, the wife is more than happy to drop the hammer and say, "Hey, step it up."
So speaking of not showing up, you haven't worked out in what, a year? You lost 30
No,
pounds?
it's been more than that. See, I was about 200 pounds. I was looking at a picture on my Facebook page.
You can look at the videos with Gracie.
We're
like
at
you were,
SeaWorld,
you
man.
were
I was jacked. And then I looked in the mirror and I was like, man, look at these sleeves were stretched out before. And now I got these little noodle arms and little noodle legs. What is it that happens when a man meets his mate, right?
You put your balls in a box and you said, yes, dear. And you're reverting back to the way you were with the ex-wife. Slowly but surely you're going back to...
I'm not aware of that because I feel...
As your friend, noticing the fact that you've lost 30 pounds in muscle over the last year.
Year and a half,
and when I bring, when you were serious about working out and taking care of your body, and to see you like, to shrink like that and all your shirts are baggy and hanging off, it's like, that's what happens. It's slow. It didn't happen over a few weeks.
It's a slow transition.
So it's a whole year of not working out. And now when I break his balls about it, when I come into the office or I see him, whatever. He just smiles. He's
I just ignore him.
He's like, yeah, we're married. It's great. it's fine. It's like
we've got a new baby.
Yeah, we got a new baby. She's not going anywhere, and it's like, so I just see these. That's how it starts. It's like, you're getting soft, bro. I love you, but you're getting soft.
So I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in.
So the question would be, is it, so if his arms were jacked and he didn't have noodle arms or whatever he said, so would he have a better relationship to his wife, and would his wife be like, you could beg me whatever you want?
It shows discipline, and so. In other words, the discipline's gone away. So why is that? Were you only working out because you wanted to get into a relationship?
You got to look good when you campaign. Let me tell you, there's a reason. There's a reason why they show the politician kissing the baby. Ooh, he wants to look good. He wants to be on that campaign trail. Right.
He's resting on his laurels.
I feel like the campaign trail's over. Now it's just, I just have to make sure I show up. I'm there for her. She can feel me. I do all the other things that I need to be the masculine for my woman, and there's no motivation to go out there and work out for an hour and whatever it is.
Not be happy for your kids. You are married to a woman that's half your age, and you're 51, just had a baby, and so by the time your baby's like 25, you're gonna be 76.
Yeah, I need to
because I get on Jen about that, not working out, because it's like she can't even squat her own body weight because she sits and works on a computer all day.
Well, like most of us, how many people sit on the rear end?
So
all day?
Her muscles have atrophied. I was like, I love her to death, but it's like you're gonna be in a wheelchair in 10 years if you just keep sitting on your ass and not exercising, because the muscle's just gonna whittle away.
And it's not just the muscles; it's the tendons and ligaments. It's your lymph system, your immune system, your bone density. I mean, I can go on and on of the negative consequences of sitting on a rear end all day and not weight training or not doing some kind of intense activity.
Because your kids are going to follow your example. And in a few years, your kids are going to be in high school. And most people tend to start working out in high school. And they're going to do what you do. And so I would think, as a father, you would want to demonstrate an example of physical fitness and health, because you are in the health industry.
I am.
But let's face it, you're kind of letting yourself go.
No, I'm not I am. Let me tell you, not only my 30 pounds, this is what happens when you don't work out. Not only am I 30 pounds lighter, but I've got a gut. So it's not just the 30 pounds. It's probably more like 35 pounds if you take off the gut there, the body fat, because my body fat was less before. So, my chest melted and went around the midsection here.
So I have a question. So let's say you weren't around and you asked your wife, and she goes, I love him. He's good. He's fathered my baby, that sort of thing. But would she say, listen, did you love him any more, or was he any more sexually attractive, or whatever the right word is, when he was jacked up? I mean, was she like, no, I love him, I don't care what he looks like? Or would she be like, well, kind of, I really like his big muscles.
I liked him better when he was buff.
I mean, what do you think she would say?
Spin me around.
I would
throw me in a bed.
It's been my experience, what Ashley has shared with me, that as long as she can feel me and that I'm in my masculine and that she feels loved and safe, and her needs are met, I'm sure, by masculine, then she says it's all the same to her.
But really,
so the wife says, it's okay to let yourself go, honey.
No, she actually said, actually the other day, she said, hey, I'm working out again. She goes, are you working out? Did you? So, yeah. Well, we're building out the garage actually now. I had someone come over today, an electrician who's going to wire it up. Or putting the workout equipment and setting it up so I can.
He's always had the workout equipment in the. So this again is part of the story, the delay tactic, because he was working out in the gym the whole time.
Right.
Oh well, I got to get this done. We got to put some lights in there, and then I'm going to work out.
So then,
Probably.
This is the.
not to
probably.
monopolize the questioning, but
No, but that's exactly what's going on.
That's what I'm going. So listen. So
I
let me
feel
ask
like I
you.
should be in the center, and one of you on one side and one on the other, so I can get flogged this side, and then I can get flogged from the other side. Because you want to.
So we don't
And
have
then
to.
Kwang gets here. We'll have him
When they have a
because he owns a
sacrifice,
gym.
when they have a sacrifice, they don't do it off to the side. They bring it in the middle.
In the middle.
So
So then here's the question. So let's say your wife just had a
You're getting a
baby.
little pudgy, my
I know.
man. Get in there.
I know.
You got a
Let's just focus on you
hot
two.
younger
Let's say that's right.
girlfriend.
Half my age.
Hot younger girlfriend, half your age.
So let me ask you a question.
Mike, let's just talk.
I
Really,
want to talk seriously.
Tell me
I'll
more
show you some
about
pictures.
this.
No, but here's a question. So when you see your wife, she just had a baby. God bless her. 9 months. You carried your child.
But she's getting after it.
But do you look
So
at her
it's
and
good,
go,
too.
you go, I love you, baby, and you just had my baby, but I wish you'd get in the gym. Is that? Or you're like, no, I don't care if she was 300 pounds. I still love her. That's the hard hitting
He'd
question.
leave her. He'd leave her.
300, 250, still
He'd
leave her?
leave her.
250. It wouldn't even get to the 200s. Not even close.
It's a double standard.
At the end of the day,
It's a patriarchy.
Women function on emotion. Men are more visual. So what would it say about me? How would I have to view myself to lower my standards enough that I would settle for a woman who's over 200 pounds? If that's how she wants to treat herself, that's fine. But would I still love her? Of course I'd still love her. I'm not going to stop loving her because she's 200 pounds. This is being recorded.
What's your
isn't it?
excuse, honey? I still haven't heard a good excuse for now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stop
now his
there.
wife is already she's
Women
needling
don't-
you in a pleasant way.
Women don't care.
It's already started.
Women don't care
A little bit
if-
of nagging has started. Hey, I'm in the gym. What about you?
So are you telling me
What about you?
that if a woman is 50% of her body weight over, like someone's normally about a buck 25 and now they're 200 pounds, that's a huge, you're talking 75%, 75 pounds of fat. That's a lot. If I gain 75 pounds of fat, is it different for a woman viewing her man versus a man viewing his woman?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
You
I
like
think so.
discipline. You like discipline.
But what Corey is implying is that there's other things that go with that. If you're dropping the ball with your workouts, what Corey's implying is you're dropping your standards for yourself, you're dropping the standards for your relationship, you're dropping the standards for your kids, you're dropping the standards for your business, you're dropping the standards in other areas.
Yeah, you weren't working out
That's-
to take care of your body, even though you're in the healthcare industry. You were only doing it to get yourself a girl. Dad motivation. Hello?
Oh yes, where were we? I don't want to miss out on the.
Kuang was telling us a story of clients that come in, like when they typically come into your gym. It's like, why, especially guys, why are they there?
And Kwong has a CrossFit gym for the.
Yeah, so I own a CrossFit gym, and I would say it's not like the main reason. There's a variety of reasons, but like one of them, like one very noticeable one, a guy gets dumped by a girl, right? And he shows up, and a lot of times they don't tell me. I find out later. Sometimes they tell me right away. It's fine, and then they'll start working out and get great results. And if it's done the right way, right, the reason for working out changes as they get better. It's for other things. But a lot of them, they'll end up meeting someone at the gym. They'll start dating, and then they both stop working out. They both kind of, and then if I see them again like a year later, they look different, a lot heavier. And
that's so funny. Hey, she just had a baby, okay?
That's just like a pattern that I noticed. So,
and it's accurate.
The circle of life.
Yeah, like I'm happy for them. They met someone, but
So it's obvious their motivation for exercising was not because they wanted to be healthy, like somebody who's in the healthcare industry should.
And modeling.
But they're doing it because it's, as you said, campaign season. They're trying to find a new girl, so they work out, they get in shape, they make themselves more attractive.
Yeah.
They find a new girl, they get soft, they get comfortable.
Yeah.
A year or two later, they house on you again, and then they're back.
And like you could tell too when they first come in, it's like they didn't even realize how much momentum they lost, right? So like a common story is like, well, I used to work, I used to do all this stuff, and then I just stop, and then like when they just get their hearts ripped out, right? They have like nothing, and I love it because I know that person who's just like heartbroken, they'll at least get really into it for like 2 or 3 months, right? And then like, whereas a lot of times people come in, you could always like already kind of get a feel. This guy will probably make it like a month or two. This guy, unless he moves away, he'll probably be here until we shut down, right? But like the guy that gets his heart broken, I have 3 months. And with the 3 months, the goal is to start helping him shift why he came in here. Because that fuel will work for like 3 months. But then after that, you need to find like another source of motivation. So,
you need an emotionally compelling reason. Because if you don't have something that's emotionally compelling, then I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow. And then you just blow it off because you're not really committed. You don't have something that gives you fuel to keep you coming in.
Yeah.
So you basically try to change their story that they've is the whole reason why they're in there, and you try to change it to something that
it could even be they made a bunch of friends at the gym, so it's more like a camaraderie, but like I need to either get back at the girl or I need to look better so I can find someone so I don't feel this heartbroken. 3 months, but
90 days.
90 days.
What are we looking at? 14 months now without exercising?
Oh, yeah, about 18 months.
Yeah. Well, you haven't had your heart ripped out yet.
No, actually, it's just getting better.
And married.
I got engaged. Well, if you work out for about 1.5 years, you get a decent base, so it lasts a lot longer. So know that if that's what's going to happen, you're going to bail once you meet a significant other. Make sure your base is pretty good so you can ride on that. You get to stretch it out further.
That's why it's important to also, if you're into physical fitness, to date a woman that's into it as well. Because if she's not into physical fitness and you are, 3 months, 4 months, you won't be working out at the gym either because she'll have no motivation to go, and you'll just kind of, hey, that's fine. She doesn't care.
So you switch the subscription from the gym to Netflix, and then you order pizza.
Netflix and chill.
And then everybody gets fat. Yeah. Well, Ashley's starting to work out now that she's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
After having a baby, she's exercising, and she's starting to ask me if I'm going to do the same.
So it's like the nice, like kind of like just harmless question.
Yeah.
Then it's going to be a little more obvious and aggressive. And then at some point, she'll probably just give up asking you, which you don't want. Just saying.
Yeah, if she stops asking you to work out, then she's already given up. And
it's actually a good thing. She's
starting to look around.
It's interesting.
She's like, oh, the guy's in shape.
All right, Mike, now it's your turn.
It's your
turn. Not in the mic. Come on.
Maybe he'll step up. And I'll get a nice alimony payment from Dominick and child support.
Let me tell you, the last marriage did some damage. I'm still trying to recoup, so I need to exercise just so I have more time to build up the funds. Yeah, divorce is expensive, man.
Yeah, just kind of find something that that doesn't feel like effort. I do CrossFit. CrossFit is not for a lot of people. Even if it works for, say, like this person, if you don't enjoy it, it's not going to work for you. Right? So like you can grind, you could be motivated, but like you have to find something that's effortless for you. Doesn't mean you don't work. But even doing the work is like effortless.
Yeah, I enjoyed CrossFit. I love that. I like the community. I like the group where everyone's working out together. Everybody's pushing each other. It was not that it was competitive, but it was inspiring to see everybody else get stronger and see how as the months rolled on, they got more fit, more ripped, more in shape.
I almost wonder if you have like a personal trainer, and then you get some kind of like a regiment. And then there's like a set goal, like in 3 months, where you're trying to accomplish something. I wonder if that's like more for you. I don't know.
Yeah, I enjoyed the CrossFit. You gotta have an
emotionally compelling why, because if you don't, I mean, just listen to you talk. You've created a story that makes it easy to do nothing. It is easy to do nothing.
It's easy to support that story.
It's easy to be lazy. It's easy to quit. It's easy to give up. It's easy to be undisciplined.
But as we mentioned earlier, it's not about the going to CrossFit or not. It's not about the working out. It's about how that translates into everything else.
Yeah, I fucking hate working out. I've always hated it. I don't, working out, especially at 51. I mean, I started doing weight training when I was in high school. and it's boring. I mean, it's
Yeah,
the same
I actually
thing
don't enjoy
over and
it
over.
either.
I do the basic movements, but it's like if I don't weight train and I don't do cardio, I feel like shit physically.
So you don't like working out.
My story is I don't want to feel like shit. I want to be able to breathe through both my nasal passages. I want to be because if I take a week off, I'm not as mentally sharp. My sleep is not as deep, and so when I wake up, I still kind of feel tired. But like last night, Chunky and I went and worked out at the gym. I think it was like almost midnight, I think it was, and worked
Chunky?
out. And then and then I ran 2 miles, sweated my ass off. And by the time I got to bed, it was like 2:00, and I got up at 6 a.m. this morning, ran another 2 miles, did a video, and then obviously came in to see you. But when I wake up, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go in the gym.
Yeah.
Or even like running that treadmill. But I always think, man, if I don't run, it's like I'm going to feel it. And I'm going to feel good. So my motivation, it's pain or pleasure. We do things based on pain or pleasure. So you got to change your story. For me, my story is I don't want hay fever. I don't want colds. I don't want my nasal passages constricting on me. I want to feel good. I want to look good, because otherwise it starts showing up in my skin. My skin starts drying out. My scalp dries out. I get a little dandruff. And it's like, I don't have a choice. So I have a real motivation for.
So you get feedback within a short amount of time from not weight training.
I feel it in my body, and I don't like feeling that way. I don't like feeling like, one of the things like with Gracie, with her, listen to her talk, like when she was working out, because she has all the same symptoms that I have: runny nose, hay fever. She's allergic to a lot of things. And so when she was working out 2-3 times a week and doing the juice and the smoothies and the nuts and all that stuff, she felt way better. And then same thing getting worked on by you, but she's back at school, and from what I heard, her 3 roommates, they all worked out. One was a cheerleader, and now we're at the end of the first semester. It's like none of them are working out, none of them are exercising, but she won't do anything about it.
So
she would rather, just like you. I mean, I've talked to you, and you're like, I feel like shit all the time, Corey, but yet you choose to continue feeling like shit, and you won't participate in your own rescue.
I think that's the problem, is I feel good.
Well, no, that's what you told me. You're like, man, I haven't been working out in a year, and I feel like shit all the time.
I did not say I feel like shit. I said I lost 30 pounds. He's filling in gaps. I'll say that I've lost excuses. I've lost a lot of weight, and my shirt's baggier, and my legs have gotten smaller, but I feel good. Like, my energy's fine, everything's fine. So what I want to touch base on is there's 2 types of motivation that I've seen. There's people who move away, and there's people who move towards. But when I first started doing CrossFit, I was moving away. That was part of my motivation. I was moving away from being alone. I was moving away from not feeling worthy. I was moving away from, hey, I'm middle-aged now, and, where am I at? And so I was moving away from that pain.
I didn't know that. Okay.
But there was a part of me that was moving towards a little bit. But I feel like now I don't really have that much of that concern. Being married, having children, I feel like the pain of moving away isn't there. So for me, what is more compelling, like what's the motivation, where's the emotion, is moving towards. That Corey mentioned earlier, being there to model that for my kids, model being physically active, model being physically fit, model taking care of yourself, and surrounding myself with like people. And I'm sure if my kids see that, they're more likely to model it, right? I mean, if a kid grows up and his parents are alcoholics, what's the likelihood he's going to be an alcoholic? If he grows up and his parents are smoking, what's the likelihood that he's going to pick up a cigarette? And that's going to be an issue, right? So I get it. So for that reason, so this is the before. Right? I'm not going to take off my shirt. You can see what's here. What is this? This is like some high definition bullshit camera,
4K,
right?
baby. 4K glory.
So you can see everything you need to see. And then 3 months from now or 6 months from now, when I go to South Florida to see Corey, we'll get back up there and we can say, okay, this is the 90 day. This is 180 days.
So I remember I was up here, I don't know, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, because I was taking Jen through the 30-day challenge process as well. And you were like, I just went to the gym. I'm starting back. You just wait another month or 2, and I hear I'm back in a month or 2. And it's like, you haven't been back since.
Yeah.
Your balls are being busted.
To be fair,
This is what
it's not
good
like
friends
you
are
look,
for.
It's not like you look bad. I mean, I don't want to.
Look at I got a gut. I didn't have a
Like,
gut before. I
yeah,
used to have
but-
a chest and abs.
Yeah, but relative to whatever average is, that's like.
Oh, now you're comparing
not
me.
noticeable.
Okay, so 2/3 of our population is obese, have metabolic. That's you're comparing me to the
Okay.
2/3 of the
So
population.
I'll say this right. Like,
Thanks, Kuang.
Another one.
Well, if I look at your actions,
Yeah.
your intent is to join them. Your intent is to be in the 74%
I'll
of
agree.
overweight or morbidly
Yeah.
obese.
So another thing with exercise. So like I remember when I was in school, especially like being in an Asian household, right? I thought success was getting good grades, right? It was, and like everyone who graduated, like most of the stuff you learn in school, you know, we didn't learn how to actually produce in life. We just learned how to take multiple choice tests, right? So the measure for success in fitness is pretty fucked, right? Like we think we need to do cardio for a certain amount of time. We think you need to build certain muscles, you need to lose body fat. If you shift it, right, you're moving, like physical movement is just what your body's designed to do. How can you actually honor that in a way that where you feel good and you can actually at least perform the functions that your body are designed to do? That's a completely different measure for like what kind of exercise you're going to do, right? Like cardio, for example, you can do anaerobic. So there's anaerobic and aerobic cardio. Aerobic is like jogging. Anaerobic is like
We
sprinting.
call it running. We don't jog. We
Okay.
run.
Yeah, right. Sure. People think you need to do cardio for 15, 30 minutes, right? And that when you do that, you're doing aerobic. When you train anaerobically, you can literally stretch a little bit, right? Do a sprint, which will take you like 10 seconds, rest for the rest of the minute, and then do that 8 times. That'll take you 8 minutes. And from a cardiovascular standpoint, you're actually getting more than enough. And when you train anaerobically, you train your aerobic system. So if you do sprints, you can actually run long distance. But if you only train aerobically, you just jog all the time, and I try to get you to do some sprints, you'll fall apart right away. So like from like bang for the buck, and also for the way
Anaerobic.
we're designed, doing anaerobic work actually benefits you more. But if you go to, say like, I'm gonna put down like Orange Theory, right? The whole idea is you want to keep your heart rate at a certain level. It turns into like people are uncomfortable with having downtime, so they just grind and push and push and push. You literally need to actually rest when you're doing anaerobic work. So like all these classes just saying we're doing HIIT. How long are you resting? Are you actually letting the heart rate come down? If you're doing whatever and then you're still doing stuff, but you're doing light stuff, you're not actually doing like true HIIT, right? So like the commercialization. So the problem for people isn't that they don't have information. There's so much information out there. Like how do we even know what works and what doesn't, right? And if you just think of like consumerism, right? What are people being programmed to do for working out? It's not actually what works really well, you know. Like
Well, it's whatever's packaged, whatever's marketed.
like doing a machine.
Whatever the
it's all
thing is, like
marketing.
the Orange Theory
Yeah.
type stuff. I haven't been, but
Yeah.
from
And
but
I'm
I
not
get the
knocking
marketing.
Orange Theory because they do like some like good stuff, right? But
Sure.
it was just an example. But like if you don't enjoy what you're doing for working out, maybe the measure that you're actually using for working out isn't for you, and that measure actually not be what makes you healthy, or even it might not even be what helps you perform, right? Our body's meant to perform. You look at it like say like a bodybuilder, right? They literally isolate muscle groups that are designed to work together with other muscle groups to perform a movement. The way and people that say they're bodybuilders, have you done a show? If you're not doing a show, you're not even bodybuilding. You're just copying some of the movements that bodybuilders are doing. But then they get on stage, then they have like judges judge the ratio and how the muscle looks.
Their
and
proportions.
Like yeah, right. So it's like that's like putting like 4 race cars on stage and like having judges like just determine which one looks the fastest. Like race the car, you know, get some drivers, drive around, whoever actually performs the best.
So what you're saying is a totally different gauge. You're talking about athleticism versus
Yeah, and I'm
development
specifically
of a
talking
physique.
about like
Appearance.
for a lot of people, they've been programmed to think that I need to do this and I need to do this, and like that's actually not what would benefit them the most. Then they don't enjoy it, and they think I don't like cardio, or they think I don't like whatever. Yeah, you don't like it the way that it's.
I like the way I feel
Yeah.
when I get done.
Yeah, and just kind of like Corey, I actually never really enjoy work. I don't get any endorphins. For me, it's more like it's almost like a dignity or like respect thing for myself. Like I feel like I'm dishonoring myself. I don't do it. You know, and
If
Mike,
you love
do you
yourself,
feel as though,
You
do
know,
you
I'm
feel as though
listening
you're-
intently.
yeah, right. But it's like none of it is like
you got that hot younger
Yeah.
girl-friend that's
Right,
half your age.
right,
It's like,
right,
come on,
right.
man, you
Yeah,
gotta
yeah,
keep
no, I
up.
like it.
yeah,
I like it.
and
In the
just
sack, like, when I was dating my English girlfriend, I remember talking about this in the audio that's on my website.
She was very athletic, by the way.
She won the Miss Figure competition, and I remember we were having sex one time, and it's like, and all I was doing was running. I wasn't doing any weight training at the time, and I was like fucking winded. I couldn't. I felt like a bitch. we got done, and I know she looked at me like, "Bro, you can't keep up." It's like you got to deliver.
She was in really good shape.
She was in amazing shape. She still is to this day. And that motivated me to work out more. And because I had my gym membership, but I had quit going. And I was starting to feel like a bitch. And it's like, as a man, and you're having sex with your girl, and you can't deliver because you're just like, you
She
get
looked
worn
like
out.
a gymnast, except not as bulky.
Yeah.
I mean, like round muscular legs, round muscular arms, and back. Like
But I
she was in good shape.
didn't want to be a bitch to my girl, and so that was motivation for me to at least be able to keep up with her. Because we would go out and we would run around the neighborhood and stuff, and she would do sprints, and it was like, fuck, I couldn't keep up with her, man.
She dropped you, didn't she?
She fucking dropped me.
Take off.
But what was so? But it was way more motivating that you couldn't keep up with her while having sex.
Well, that
Then
too.
the-
That was
running
the
around.
impetus, and
Okay,
then
okay.
going outside and running a
Okay.
bunch of miles because I ran a lot, at the time. But I'd go out and run with her. It's like,
Yeah.
she was a misfigure. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a fucking maniac.
That
And
would
she's-
drive me
her
nuts.
body is flawless. There's
Yeah.
perfectly proportioned. She's in unbelievable shape, endless energy, and it's like if you're not weight training, you're not doing cardio, and you're not eating right, you're not. And plus, she was 15 years younger than me. You're not gonna be able to keep up with her. I was like, when we started dating, I was like mid 30s at the time. I didn't want to be a bitch, so that was motivation. And I wanted to deliver in the bedroom as well. I wanted to be like, I'm fucking sweating, and she's like, doesn't even have any moisture on her brow. Like, I wasn't keeping up.
Very humbling experience.
It was humbling. So you got a girl that's half your age,
Half
bro.
my
You got to
age.
deliver, my man.
I'm taking copious notes to all of this.
You got to deliver.
Don't look at me, Mike.
No,
The table's finally turned over to your side.
I want
was
to
just
crawl
thinking-
under the table.
I was thinking, oh, thank God, they're going to Mike now. They're going to leave me alone for a minute. Don't look at me, Mike. Don't look at me. Just take it and run.
You want to think of a question to drop it back, and you're like, well, how would a doctor? No, it's fascinating. I can't give much to this conversation because of obviously I'm terribly out of shape. But I've run a couple marathons. But again, it's interesting what you would say. Like you're doing that for yourself, and
Yeah. I remember back in the day, you used to run marathons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But again-
the standard like for any industry, any topic is pretty low. Like once you get okay at it, you're like, wow, like what people think is good is pretty mediocre, right? But if you haven't done it, you're like, oh man, like someone's like really good at network or someone's really in shape. And once you get in just okay shape, you're like, wow, like I could just be in okay shape and people think I'm in good shape. Because the baseline, the standard for everything is so low.
That reminds. I just had a flashback of. Can I talk about another podcast?
Well, of course.
Joe Rogan's show, where he had this guy on who went into South America, I believe it was, and he's looking at all these indigenous cultures. And the guy who's telling his story went in there as a researcher. They had cameras and they had a medical crew and had all the stuff, and they're checking all these indigenous cultures. And he was telling the story about how the indigenous people there, he said they walk up a tree like they walk on the ground. He said they literally go up to the tree and grab it and run up it. He said their level of athleticism was unbelievable. He said their average person in the tribe can go up this tree and get a coconut 18 feet up and come back down in like 30 seconds. He said, I couldn't get halfway up that tree if my life depended on it. And then here he was like kind of an athletic, strong looking guy. So if that summarizes your point, Kuang, like what we consider in shape is actually pretty bad.
Yeah, like the average like American,
which makes me feel better about myself because then I'm even lower than
it's not that shape. But that's like everything.